Any Australian major city has at its heart an area where rents are low. You can get about on foot, and you can't tell what a person is just by the way they look. It's called the inner city, and just about every nationality and religion is represented here. Many inner city dwellers are young people living in exile from the suburbs. Many are jobless and are looking for something outside the ordinary. This film looks at the punks, the mods and the skinheads, the three major groups of the inner city youth culture.
Like, because I was just in the suburbs, I didn't have friends who could relate to what I was doing, what I felt inside, towards different things that I'm interested in. And sort of found my way to the city and started finding interesting people that you could talk to them and they could relate to what you were talking about.
Yeah.
And it's sort of, punk then wasn't sort of the wild thing it is now with bright hair and things like that. But it was the interests of the people and the things that they shared about unemployment and troubles in the family and with society and things like that.
Music is very, very important. Like, that's right in the middle, and it's what really starts a lot of it is you're into a certain kind of music, so you can buy the whole bag. You get the clothes, you get the haircut, you get everything. You just get the lifestyle.
In the 60s, it was reported that mods lived 60 hours in a weekend. Well, that's, it's pretty close to the truth. Try and get as much as you can into the short time that, I don't know, you're young or whatever.
With a bit of style.
With style, yeah.
What's the most important thing? Is it the people, the music, or the clothes, or is it...
music and people and beliefs. Standing up for your rights, having some self-dignity.
These groups have two things in common. They originated in England, and they're distinctive because of their visual style. They have much in common with their graffiti. Their look is their statement. Their style suggests their rebellion. Their expression is their feeling of impotence about society and a kind of raw power. Time magazine has dubbed them the New Tribes. In this film, we take a look at them and their members in Australia.
I don't mind if you say yeah, huh? Yeah, huh? Yeah, huh? Yeah, huh? Yeah, huh? Yeah, huh? Yeah.
Punk dominated Australian live music from 1977 to 1980. Radio Birdman was the biggest punk band of that time. At this 1978 concert, their hair may have been long, but the sound was pure power punk. Punk's rough look and sound was not for everybody. In 1980, around the world, new wave became the soft alternative. And about the same time, we had the rebirth of that English phenomenon of the 60s, mods. And they're still with us. This isn't swinging London, it's Australia today.
Mods were punks in the first place, but they got tired of that. They wanted to move into something that looked a bit sharper, a bit cleaner, a bit smoother, a bit neater. I think it was mainly a style thing, though. They just got sick and tired of the scruffy punk image, basically.
They copied a style that peaked in 1963-64. English kids then wanted a change from the yobbishness of the 1950s. They took European influences to heart, dressed in sharp suits, rode motor scooters, and danced to black rhythm and blues music. And they had their own bands, like The Who. Stephen Detra was part of Australia's mod revival. He's no longer a mod. At 27, he's too old. And these days, his scooter rusts away in his backyard. Stephen puts out a small music magazine dealing with rhythm and blues and new bands.
Most people that I talk to now who are there with us, they say that they had a tremendous sort of feeling like butterflies in the stomach on a Friday night before they were going to go out. They thought, oh, well, it's going to be a great weekend. And you'd go down to the Sussex on a Friday night just to find out what bands were playing, and then go on to one of the venues.
The Sussex Hotel has been home to many groups: the Sydney Push, anti-Vietnam groups, and the women's movement. Today, the future of this historic hotel is uncertain, as the Sussex has been closed down by its owners, the Sydney City Council. Some of our best bands started off here. The band that best represented the mods was the Sets. It's a legacy of punk that their sound was harder than the 60s mod bands that went before. These are today's mods. Their average age is 18, and most of them work. It's difficult to be a mod if you can't pay for clothes or a scooter. So what's the attraction of the mod lifestyle?
For the majority of us, it's the scooters, the clothes, the music, everything.
And it's how you are in your head as well. I mean, you'll see guys who look pretty mod. They've got a 3-button suit on and a skinny tie, but they're not mods at all. And
so what's the difference? You've got a skinny tie and a 3-button suit on, so what's the difference between you and them?
I guess it's how you are in your head, being mod in the head. I mean,
It's not a big shame, it's true.
yeah, it is.
It's just the way you think.
It's, if you feel mod, live for everything that is mod, it's hard to put a finger on that.
Perhaps the most important thing about being a mod is belonging to the group. Most 18-year-olds have a very intense view of life. In a group, there's security, you have fun, and personal problems are kept at a distance.
To me, they kind of strike me as like a social club, and the idea always was you have a big rave up on the weekend and struggle during the week to hold down the job if you've got a job. But no, I think off you go on a scooter run down to the beach or something like that. It's a real social thing.
Clinton Walker is a music journalist living in the inner city. He writes for major newspapers and has written a book about inner city music.
They are kids who have actually gone and looked for something different, consciously looked for something different, in most cases, I would say. I think in Australian society, and especially for kids in high school, it's very easy to drift into what you would see as being a fairly normal kind of kid, go down the beach or you play footy on the weekends and things like that. Whereas these kids really have rejected that, and they've gone into something where music is valued very highly. And there are other factors like, they're doing something very different. Maybe they take a lot of drugs as well as part of these subcultures, which you wouldn't expect of a normal Australian kid, say.
Mods are not concerned with politics and rebellion. They stand united. For them, politics inside the group is the most important thing. Bedroom politics is how one mod described it. It's hard to say how many mods there are, but they support a flourishing underground magazine market. So what do mods do on the longed-for weekend?
The mods weekend, right, well, we start off, we meet at the pub, our pub that we have, and generally everybody knows what's going to happen because they've looked up the gig guide to see if there's any bands on. So we'll sit down there for a while, get all prepared, everybody talk about things, then we go out to a band. We'll go out, just have a great night and dance all night if we can. But if there's not bands on, generally somebody will throw a party. There's usually things to do there.
Your leisure leisure time is important to you. So you really want to enjoy it, whatever you do. I mean, the person who collects butterflies is really serious about it, and someone who's a mod now is serious about it. You know, they want to have a good time, and what we think about it compared to what we used to do is totally irrelevant. What these kids now are having is a good time for them compared to what they probably were doing in the past.
Back in the 60s, everybody didn't earn as much money as they do now. They weren't as affluent. Now we've got more money. We're rebelling not against the poverty of the society, but against, I suppose, the yobs and just the deadbeats of society.
Is that like the rest of suburbia, or?
Oh, just people that haven't got any direction, just don't know what they're doing.
Well, in the 60s, there was a lot of style. Even people who weren't mods wore three-button suits and skinny ties. Now, today, there's very little style. There are people in long stubbies and crystal cylinder surf shirts, and there's no style there. And so it's the style. I mean, we're the style. We have style, and 98% of civilization who drive around in panel vans with boards on the roof and things, there's no style there. Thongs aren't style.
Do you have any opinion on the mods?
I reckon they're pretty harmless, as far as I'm concerned. You know.
And you reckon most of them are gay, do you?
Most they're all bent, I reckon.
Why?
I don't know, they all get around little motor scooters with little funny hats and they all just look alike, I reckon.
So, with no shorts and thongs, don't the mods feel uncomfortable in their suits and ties in the Australian heat?
Hot on the outside, but cool on the inside.
I mean, mods have a bit of a reputation for drugs like speed and all that sort of thing. Is that still the case?
Hi, Mum. Hi, Dad.
And of course, one day soon, these kids will be too old to be mods themselves.
It is a young thing, any way you look at it, but it's also a state of mind. And I guess you can always think mod, but you can't always be a mod because you do get too old for it.
It's not particularly when you reach 24 or when you reach 28, you can't be a mod anymore. It's just when you can't keep up with the pace, with the mod lifestyle, and then...
Wife wouldn't let you.
Yeah, the kids would get upset.
Skinhead to me was just my way of life now. I couldn't see anything else for me. It's hard on the outside, but on the inside, I don't know, it's hard again on the inside, but then you look at it, you meet the people, and then you'll find a different person from what you think a skinhead really is.
The venue is called The Pits, and this is a skinhead's night out.
Like, I used to be a mod, and when you went out, you were really sort of straight-laced and worried, because mods worry about their image. Whereas skinheads will go out and they don't give a damn. And that's how they get in trouble too. Because they'll do whatever they want, and people think, oh, you know, look at this yobbo, and they'll have a go. But skinhead's a fun thing to be into. You've got good music to dance to, and you're tight. Like, everyone wants to belong to a group, and if you're a skinhead, you've got a good, tight group.
The skinheads have a reputation